So there was a survey put out in 2017, and of 48,000 college students, 64% of them had reported feeling lonely in the past year. That's a lot, and I think that there are a lot of things we just don't talk about when it comes to making friends in college. Hello, my name is Michaela, and if you're new to my channel, I make academic content, and welcome back if you've been here before. I want to talk about making friends in college, how hard it is, ways that you can kind of make it easier on yourself. The reason I'm making this in the middle of my third year at college, because I'm studying abroad this year, it's like I'm experiencing being a freshman twice. You know, being in a new environment, being at a new college, surrounded by entirely new people. Having it kind of gone through that twice, and especially with the first time being peak of COVID 2020, it was impossible to meet anyone in 2020. It's been challenging. I've never been one to make friends easily. I still struggle quite a bit with it. Like when I was younger, my mom and cousin used to help like coach me, and they'd say like, because I was having a really hard time with it, and they'd say like, try to, work your way up with saying hello to people. So, for this week, make it your priority to say hello to 3 people in the hallways or whatever per day at school. And then, once you kind of feel more comfortable with that, start doing it to like 7 people per day and count and try to beat your own high scores and stuff. And I was also like, I remember in high school, people would ask me like, why do you always stare at the ground as you walk? And like, I didn't even realize I was doing it because I was just actively avoiding eye contact with people without really meaning to. So yeah, it's just not something that comes naturally to me, and I feel like I have learned a lot since coming to college and high school. Honestly, a lot of this came from high school too, so hopefully it'll help you out if you're going into college, going to a new school, whatever it is, and you're a little bit nervous about making friends. So yeah, is it hard? I feel like what I've been talking about this far in this video, it's kind of obvious I do think it is hard. I googled it out of curiosity to see what other people said, and the featured snippet for Quora on Google was someone answering that no, it's not hard, or it shouldn't be hard. And I just think there are so many circumstances, especially in college, that make friendships difficult to create. And these are some of the reasons. If you're an introvert, you might get your energy from being alone. So it's quite literally draining to you to be out with people. And it is for me because I'm an introvert. It adds difficulty. Even if you want to make friends, it's hard on the day of to bring yourself to have that energy to go out and make friends. Schoolwork is a huge one. Academic obligations. Like if you're busy, you can't go out and socialize when you've got 10 hours of homework ahead of you. Homesickness, definitely. It's often like this feeling of what's the point, if you miss your family and your dogs and your house and everything. It makes it hard to have that motivation to go make friends. There's also a big party drinking hookup culture. This is especially true of the University of Bristol, because you can drink at age 18 in the UK. U Chicago is a little bit better. I haven't really noticed this as much at U Chicago, but here it's like a lot of the social events that I was looking at on the school page and like in group chats and stuff is going out and getting drinks. So like I don't drink, and if you don't drink, it makes it harder because it's hard knowing that you might be the only person there who's not getting an alcoholic beverage. Or if you're just not into that, like if you're just not into the parties and everything, it's hard to socialize when those aren't part of what you're looking for. Spending money. A lot of events require you to spend money, whether it's going out to eat or going to the movie theater, going to a concert. It's hard to afford, if you don't have the financial capabilities of doing these things. It limits you from your socialization options. People quickly form groups, so it's kind of a lot of pressure at the beginning of the school year. If you don't join a group right away, you can kind of see people forming their groups, and then it's hard to join in. And then also, it's if you're an international student, particularly if, where you're going to school, it's not your first language and stuff, because there's just a lot of cultural differences, and it might, you're thrust into a new environment, and it might be totally different from what you've experienced in the past. Hopefully that wasn't too daunting after hearing all those reasons why making friends is hard. Roommates is something I want to talk about, because in general, that's like one of the biggest things that you're thinking about as you go into college. Kind of wondering who it's going to be and if you'll get along and all of those factors. A lot of people have more than one roommate. So I guess the first thing I'd say is you don't want to force it on yourself, because that's where you live. Like you can't be on 24/7 trying to be someone that you're not, or trying to make a friendship with someone that you're just not compatible with. This year I get along well with all my roommates. I'll chat with people while I'm in the kitchen with them, and it works out well. Like we have our space when we're in our rooms, and that's just kind of the way it worked out for us. Back at U Chicago though, I did have a roommate or suite mate freshman year, and that ended up working out so well for me because we did become friends. It was nice having someone that like I could talk to about COVID and everything, because we both missed our family a lot, and I think that there was just a lot of camaraderie there that it was nice to have someone to talk to. So with that being said, my different experiences in Bristol and Chicago have kind of shown me that you have to just roll with it. A lot of people will say leave your door open. If you are comfortable doing this, then go ahead and leave your door open so people feel free to come in and talk. I never felt comfortable doing that, so I've never just like left my door open. It stresses me out having just, I don't know, I don't like it. That can be, if you do want to become friends with your roommates, do that, and it'll tell people that they can come in and say hello to you if they want. How long do the friendships last? There's no one answer to this, but I think what happens most often in college is if you make a friend in a class, you'll be friends with that person in class, but then it may not last once the semester or quarter is over. That's okay. Like, it allows you to meet more people. It allows you to have a connection while you're in that class, someone you can text to while you have homework and everything. You just have to kind of be prepared that they might move on or you might move on once that class is over, because if you don't have a shared schedule after that, it's hard to stay connected with them. It's not like high school where you still see the same people in the hallway every day and you share 5 classes a day with the same group of kids. A lot of people will ask if the friends that they meet during orientation week are, like, am I stuck in this friend group? Am I gonna meet new people? Some people do stay in their orientation week friend groups and then others just move on. So I think the important thing to remember with the length of friendships in college is that it's okay to move on. Like, everyone does it constantly. It's not expected that you stay in contact with every single person you become friends with. How to actually make friends in college. I will be forthright and say I am not the best person to give advice on this. I have never been spectacular at making friends, and I don't have a million of them. That being said, I had to learn how to make friends throughout my years of growing up because I was bad at it naturally. First of all, attending things regularly. So you might join a club to try to make friends, and it might be very awkward the first time. So you might say, oh, I'm never going back there again. But force yourself to try it again and go back 2 or 3 times to see if you like it, because if you attend something regularly, it's really easy to make friends that you see every week there. It's a scheduled thing. And I think that that's really useful if you're trying to meet new people. One thing I noticed people do even more here in Bristol than in Chicago, and I've enjoyed it, is asking whether they have Instagram. Or just any other social media. If you've been chatting for just one class with someone, they'll often ask, do you have Instagram? I think that it's just a good way to connect with people. So don't be afraid to be like, hey, are you on any social media? And it's a great way to reach out and meet people. And this is how I became friends with Karina, my friend at U Chicago. She reached out to me. It was before school started freshman year, so everyone's trying to make connections. We just chatted about our schedules or whatever. Met up for a socially distanced lunch on the quad in one of the first few weeks of school. So Instagram is really a fantastic way to get to know people. In my experience, going to a party isn't going to help you make friends. I mean, it will probably for a lot of people. For me, it doesn't, because I'm not extroverted, because I'm not outgoing. For me, it's been easiest to make friends in class, and that's because that's where I feel most comfortable, is sitting around a table talking about a group project. I'd much rather do that as opposed to sit around a table and talk about what's going on that weekend in a concert we went to. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. If you're like me, then definitely capitalize on your in-class friendships, because those might be easiest for you to foster. So for example, if I'm standing outside with someone before class starts, I'll ask them about the homework or the reading. Yeah, that's just my preferred method. You can also get a job. Jobs are like clubs. You have to go somewhere regularly, and it's natural to kind of make friends when you're in an environment like that you keep going to repetitively. Check for events on club calendars, the university calendar, all those different things. There's all sorts of events all the time if you're at college. Also, you have to want it. You can't do it if you don't want it. And I've been told before to fake it till you make it, which is true in a lot of contexts, but eventually that's not going to bring you happiness. Don't force it, but also if you're lonely, then you have to almost expose yourself to it, even if you're not having fun. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. It's kind of a balance between giving yourself a chance and knowing when you've reached your own limits, especially if you're introverted and it's just too much for you and you're becoming overwhelmed. How to maintain a friendship in college. This is as hard as making it in the first place, because everyone is so busy in college. It's impossible to meet up, because even if you have a free time, it's unlikely that your friend is free during the same time that you are. This is why it's different from high school. In high school, you don't schedule a weekly hangout, but I would say in college, it's best to schedule things because everyone is so busy. So that's why, with my friend Karina, we will meet up. We have a designated time once a week that we'll meet for dinner. It just makes it easier organization-wise too. I can look ahead 5 weeks and know when I'm going to be busy. If you do want to purchase events, go to something where you're going to spend money, buy tickets in advance, because then you can't back out. It's a sunk cost, and you'll be like, oh, I've got to go, I've already paid for it. Make sure you FaceTime your high school friends, because it is hard to make friends in college, and if you've got high school friends that you have a really good bond with, don't lose those because you're at college. It doesn't have to be often. Just even if you FaceTime once a quarter to check in on each other and see how your lives are going, that's a great way to get that emotional intimacy that you might be lacking if you're feeling lonely at college. And then finally, and again, this kind of goes hand in hand with in-class friends, make study groups. That's a great way to socialize, but you're still getting things done. So the truth about making friends in college, everyone kind of acknowledges that it's hard. If you ask people, a lot of people will say, yeah, it's difficult to make friends. But what no one really emphasizes is how stressful it is to make friends in college, how much you have to put yourself out there, and how much you might feel uncomfortable. Just keep in mind that a lot of people will feel the same exact way you do, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed by it. It's okay okay to feel anxious by it. I hope that this was slightly helpful. I know it's in the middle of the year, so I feel like no one's going to need this video, but thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic rest of your week.